My name is Wendy, and we are going to be making crepe paper flowers today. So in honor of Mother's Day, you can make a pretty little flower. Actually, we'll have enough in the kit for you to make 2 flowers. And while my crepe paper here is measured, you will have extras. So you'll need to go ahead and get a ruler and measure out. Since you're doing 2 flowers, there's going to be twice as much as you need. Alright, so we're going to start out by just making the stem. You're going to go from one corner of here and just start trying to get it to roll. At this point, we're just going to use some tape. Tape this guy off so it doesn't unroll. And you will be covering up the tape with the green, so don't worry about that. You're also not going to want this long of a stem. So you can trim it later to exactly what length you want it. Next step, we're going to use a needle and thread to sew this little guy. So we're going to start on the flower itself. We have to make the petals. So this one's already measured out, 40 inches. And you're going to divide it in half, half again, half again, half again, until you get about 2.5 inches. Okay, so here we go. Now we're going to trim the petals. So you're going to want to do a zigzag pattern, and don't forget the edges. So like so, we're going to, on one side, so now we have petals. We're going to open it till we have just 2 layers. If you want to adjust any of those petals that you don't like, feel free to do so. I think these are fine, so I'm going to leave them like they are. Now we're going to do the sewing. I've got a little needle packet in here, and the needle is already threaded because it was a very small needle. So we're going to pull that guy out, and then on one end we're going to knot it 3 times. Same place 3 times, and you want to leave an inch or so from the end. Okay, so I have my 3 knots on the end, right on top of each other, and now I am going to start sewing. You start at one end, try to keep it mostly even here. Then we're going to do what they call a running stitch. What that means is that you're going to go from the edge, just a little bit from the edge right here. You're going to go down, and almost like in an accordion, you're just going to keep up and down. Yeah, so you got, see, you have the folds on here, and then you pull it through. so I'm finishing this up right now, and you're going to want to pull it as tight as you can. At this point, you don't need the needle anymore, so let's set that aside. So what we're going to do is we're going to take both ends of the thread and we're going to tie them together. So, let's get it nice and tight. And we're going to tie this in, again, 3 knots, because this is a fairly small thread. Okay. So at this point, we're just going to trim the edges of the thread, and we are done with that for now. All right. Set them aside. Let me thread the edges first. Now we're going to do the center part. You're going to see this one. This is going to be yellow only, but I have provided some brown. So we're going to do with this one, we're going to make brown at the very center and then yellow surrounding it, just for some fun. Now if you decide to do this, you will need about 8 inches of brown and about 16 inches of yellow. If you want to do just one color, if you want to do just the yellow, you need about 24 inches of just yellow, okay? But you'll do the same thing either way. So we'll start with the brown, and we're going to do it much like the petal. We are going to fold it in half until it gets pretty small, maybe like 1 inch. All right. And now we're just making, like if you ever cut a grass texture before, that's what we're doing. We are just going to cut little straight cuts all the way across. Okay. Do that with the yellow as well. Okay, now we're getting to the easier parts. I think the stem is way too long, so before we do anything else, I'm going to trim it. Woo. And I'm also going to tape up any areas that need to be retaped, which this one will. Okay. So we're going to start with the brown, open it up a little, maybe to about just 2, and then you're going to wrap it around the tip, and you want just the little frilly bits like this poking up over it. Tape that off. Repeat the process with the yellow. Tape it off. And just in case, we're going to add a little bit more tape just around the bottom here. We don't want this coming off. Okay. So we're going to place our orange flower on here now. So you're going to put it on from the bottom. gonna have to work with this guy a little. The hole's kind of small. Just carefully move it up. Okay, flatten them out however you want. And at this point, we're just going to wrap the stem so it looks better. So I'm going to take some of this, however much I need, and just start wrapping. Just start at the top and tape it down so I don't have a problem with it coming off. You can also cut pieces. As you can see, when I wrap it, it does look a little bit sloppy, so you can cut pieces and just go down the stem that way, however you'd like to do it. I'll actually try that just a little bit. Let's see what it looks like. And I'm just going to wrap the rest of this. Tape it off, and you will have a little extra green if you want to try to make a leaf. Cut out a leaf and just stick it on there just to make it prettier. And there we go. There we go. Crepe paper flowers just in time for Mother's Day. And these are going to be available at the Central Branch Library starting May 6th as a grab and go for 20-somethings. Thank you guys.